I'm Lin-Manuel Miranda, and you're listening to Hard Knock Life.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you. You've created this whole world for In the Heights, highlighting the beauty that people should see in the community, especially
Mm.
those from Washington Heights. You called In the Heights like a musical without the villain. But would the villains really be the people trying to diminish this beauty through gentrification and the DACA situation?
Maybe, but we don't really deal with that. In a way, it is they're sort of these invisible ghosts that we actually don't even resolve. In the end, Sonny and the lawyer, he says, the odds are against you. But what Usnavi says after that is key. He says, but we should try. And that's the main thing. It's like we're not providing answers here. We're just showing you a reflection of what's happening, that these human beings here that take care of each other, that dream big and love each other and are taking care of each other. And everyone's just trying to find their place. This is sort of post gentrification. Yes, things are changing, but they're not fighting a mayor. What are you going to do now if you can't control it? What are you going to take with you to the next step? And I love it when he says our best days are not behind us, they're actually ahead of us. And that we have a place to make, we have a home to make, we have an America to make.
Yeah, I really love that the whole story and how there are some changes, but it makes sense with what's the current times right now. I was wondering though, with the regards to the music to the film included picking and choosing the songs. How did you decide what songs would fit the screenplay and the story overall?
That was the process. There was never like one definitive list. In fact, songs came in and out a lot. It was at a certain point, every song had to earn its spot. But we knew if we took a song out, it wasn't permanent if it didn't need to be. If there was a song that we had to put in this movie, then we needed to find the room and we needed to compromise other spots for it. Our movie is always already like popping at the seams. So we had very delicate lines. So we cut it as close as we could, squeeze in as much stuff as we could before we crossed that line. But it was very difficult. But it was Lynn, Kiara, and myself talking about it relentlessly about what we needed to keep in there and what we needed to lose.
In the Heights is not only for its beauty, beautiful music, the
Yeah.
story, but also the community and finding family where you are.
Yeah.
Especially within the Latinx and our Asian communities are also like that in Washington Heights. So what do you want fans who are Latinx, both Latinx and not Latinx, to take from this film?
I want them to be entertained like hell. I want them to be exuberant. I want them to look at this and feel powerful by the end, like even through tough times like we've been through. That, like Daniela says, like, you're not powerless, you're powerful. Like, you didn't need a salon, you were already beautiful, you have your flags, you have each other. Like, march forward. I hope they feel that when they walk out, and I hope others who don't know this place also feel that and actually are like, wow, I need to learn salsa dancing. I'm going to look that up on YouTube. Oh, you have a Latino friend. Okay, show me what that food is. Oh, your mom makes one. Can you make it for our next dinner party? That sharing to me is what I saw in Crazy Rich Asians. That sharing of bringing your spouse's parents that don't know what an Asian culture family is like, bringing them, like, that sharing changes minds. You cannot unsee that. You cannot undo that. No politics, nothing. It's just, look at this human being and look how beautiful they are and look what they believe in. It's the same as you, that we all want a place here. And so I hope that that's what people get out of it.
No, perfect. Thank you so much. It was so wonderful talking to you. I really
Thanks,
appreciate
Laura.
you giving us insight too. You are all so amazing in this film. I love that you all come from singing backgrounds. With Gregory, you're the stage, and Melissa with your singing career, and I know you sang for Tanto Amor for your telenovela, and Leslie for your long discography and Billboard. But within the Heights, it's a huge, massive scale. Like, you're singing in blocks, and it's like, how was it reading it from the script and then bringing the script to life with these massive stages and actually having to sing, and it's also cut. You have to remember the cuts too. So how was that bringing from script to life?
It was, John Chu, our amazing director, made it all feel easy because he had envisioned everything and had planned shot by shot what we were going to do. And so there was a lot of rehearsal. So we had a lot of time to like get the choreography in our bodies, We had time to get into the studio and record the songs, get comfortable with them. Even though we had pre-recorded the songs, we were always singing live as well. And it was a lot of hard work, but it was also fun. And like you said, it's, you know, having to do all three things at the same time. I know Greg and I come from musical theater, and Leslie also, with her musical background and music videos, she's also dancing and singing. So it's something that we all, you know, it's our origins, it's our roots. So it was
But not like this. Never in our lives like this, not as hard as we dance and sing and, you know, act and emote in this movie. We were definitely challenged in a way,
Greg,
in a new way, which is what made it so exciting.
Yeah, and also Gregory, you had to sing and dance in water too, so you were part of that scene. So that must have been difficult to sing, act, and making sure, like, I don't want to slip, I don't want to fall. So can you tell me more about that too?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully I'm tall and the pool was kind of shallow, the area that we were at. So I'm not like simultaneously swimming and dancing at the same time, because I'd probably like drown if that was the case. But you know, that was a lot of fun to shoot. The water was pretty cold, so I'm over here like trying not to shiver while I'm filming. But just overall, it was a great experience. Our director, Jon Chu, was in the water with me, which just kind of like created this sense of like comfort. And it's like, I'm not like here alone now. It's like, you know, the dancers are in here with me and the extras are in here with me, but then even the director's in here with me. So it was great.
Well, I don't want to spoil the ending. Just one more question, because no spoilers, of course. But, you know, I felt a little empty not knowing where all my characters were, who I fell in love with. So without spoiling it, can you let me know if all of their little dreams that were mentioned in the film, if they ever came true, if Jon told you, or if you believe?
I believe they do.
I think so.
I believe they do. I believe maybe their path to get there is not what you know, like in life, it's not always what you think it is. And you see that in the arc of our characters within the movie. So I think that remains true after, you know, wherever they go on to, and hey, we might have a sequel, you know, so start the petitions now.
Yes, I definitely love to. But thank you so much. I love watching you guys. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Can't wait for everyone to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I love your fit right now.
Thank you.
I love your background, like everything about
Everything.
Oh,
is that
thank
like
you.
is that like an OG Broadway Usnavi inspired outfit?
It is it's a cube well, it's the same company. So I'm like,
Let's go.
let's go.
Love it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. Well, yeah, it's so great to see you guys. Yeah,
I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd.
No, I love your work. You are, like, I follow both of you. I love you ladies. You guys are amazing in your performances. It's the highlight for me, seeing you both, and with Stephanie too, just performing your numbers. It's the highlight of the movie, really, because it brings comedy, it brings lightheartedness of some of the serious situations that the story brings. Well, I love you guys, and I love No Mi Diga and Carnaval. This is a huge production with massive scale, using like blocks of the city. Like, how does it feel, like, reading the script and bringing it to life in these massive stages, especially since you worked on big productions, but this is using blocks and blocks. And, you know, with both of you, you know, working in film, and then and also Daphne with Broadway, how was it working in this huge production from script to the finished product?
Well, I had seen the theater piece. I knew the theater piece, and one thing I know about myself is that when I read a script, I like a story, but I don't know what I'm going to see, and I know that I don't know that, so I'm not having expectations. That said, Jon made it very clear to us, right, Dasha, that you know, he was very specific in what he saw. So I really trusted everyone, because I know that everyone involved was going to bring as close to their best, most perfect skills to the piece. So yeah, I couldn't have imagined what it was, what it became really was, special.
Both of you, you've done so much for the community just by being present. You thrive in the industry and you're Latinx woman, but I feel like the industry has changed from when you guys first started to now where it's accepting and thriving on Latinx experiences. I was wondering what your thoughts are when you first started in the industry to now with this big production of In the Heights.
I mean, I've barely done this for a decade. And
We used to be like a flavor, right? And it was very, very clear when there was a trend. And I remember saying it, knowing that I was being glib and facetious, but it was amazing how it just went over when I was like, oh yeah, no, we're trending now. We meaning that, like, whenever there was like a blip in Jennifer Lopez, there just had to be one, like there was just like these moments,
right?
Yeah.
there's these moments, and it's like, I've been this my whole life, right? So
I mean, you can see that that things are changing. You've seen that there's a lot more work to be done. And I've been very vocal about it. In the forefront for my experience of what I felt most related to, like for me to say that I'm Black, for me to say that I'm like Latinx, for me to use these terms, it has been, it's been quite difficult because my experience as my identity is something that I care for and that is very important to me, as is to everyone else. So to question my experience is insulting, right? So that I believe that we have to respect the identity in which you most identify with the person and the experience that they hold, and to be aware and to know that I did not see myself on screen, whether it's phenotype, physically, whether it's culturally. I did not see my story on screen, not necessarily just me physically, but the story, because it doesn't serve a purpose. I just see myself and then I can't relate to what they're saying or the emotion. And I think that In the Heights, the story of dreaming, the story of neighborhoods changing, like Daphne said previously, of women in the salon is not just women in a salon. It's business owners in our communities that come here with the dream of having their own thing, of owning, of being successful, whether it's in the corner selling, piraguas, or whether it's owning a beauty salon, whether it's being the bodegueros. This is our neighborhoods. This is our community. It is our culture. It's not just noise. And so now, being a woman of color, which is something that even I have moved away from even having to say, because I'm a woman first and I have my cultural differences, and I'm Dominican. I'm come from the Caribbean. Daphne comes from Panama, which is also considered more Caribbean than anything. The diaspora is huge. But the common theme, the language of a dream, of celebration, of celebrating, of knowing that our differences make us more powerful when we're united and we understand and respect. It's something that for me, whether you're a nerd and consider yourself and have to explain to people that, yeah, I'm a nerd, but I still like eat rice and beans, like we have Asian communities in our countries. In Panama, we have we have such a huge diaspora, but we all want to be understood, respected. We all want to tell our story, and hopefully when the Heights, me working along Daphne, I tell her all the time, that's inspiring. I mean, she was part of something that I didn't get to see, but that she represented us in a way that a lot of us didn't know unless you were part of that world. So,
that to be in a piece that's central, that keeps people like, we're doing things that we can recognize, and they're not marginalized. They're not important. They're important. They're just as important. So by the fact that now we have set a precedent, you really feel the lack from before. The fact that, like, what we, actors that look like me do not play lead roles. We play, fill in the blank, pero not you know, Anthony Ramos, to have Anthony lead, you know, and lead a cast that is, you know, pretty much representative of a reflection. I mean, there's work to do on representation, but at least like it's begun and it's not negative. That's huge.
Yeah. Thank you so
Laura.
much. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for your
Laura,
time. Thank
I
you.
love the iron hand over there. I love everything.
you.
Everything. Thank you, my love. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. You're my Mimi too. Thank you so
Peace.
much.
Thank you, Laura.
I am so excited to talk to you guys. Congrats on your Hollywood star. I got to watch the ceremony online. And so well deserved. But you know, you both are legends in the industry as well as in the Latinx community. You know, you guys done so much for the community by just being present and thriving in your careers. I just feel like the industry has changed from when you first started to where it is now. Can you tell me the experience of when you first started in the industry to now where everyone is thriving on the Latinx experience?
Well, we hope that this film helps to enforce that, because we have to, you know, it's time that I think that our stories are told, and the positivity that is exuded in the film, and especially with the fact that John Chu is teamed up with Lin-Manuel Miranda here, and he understands the immigrant experience just as much as anything that's on the page in terms of what the Broadway musical was, and he brings a specificity and a global understanding, which I think will help to resonate more in terms of having our stories, our specific stories told that might be looked at through one lens, but are universal in so many ways. You've
both done Broadway productions and been in television and film. There's a vast difference between performing live as a character as well as, you know, taking multiple cuts and singing in person, and they're moving you around. How was it performing what was essentially a Broadway production, but on a massive scale with the cuts and the distractions? How do you get into that Broadway zone for a Hollywood film?
That's a great question, Laura. It's very challenging because at least on Broadway, you get to start the song and finish the song. You know, here you're sometimes shooting the end first or the climax first, and moving locations. So you have to be very, very focused on where you are and what piece you're shooting and where you shot and where you are in the song. So it takes a lot of concentration, and especially with Paciencia y Fe, it was 3 different locations, 3 different days down in the bowels of the New York City subways. But I was just so excited and honored to be able to play Abuela Claudia for the big screen, that you better believe it, I was on it. You know,
yeah,
I had a huge responsibility, and I was ecstatic, and this is a dream, and so I don't even know how I did it, but we did it.
Jimmy, did you also have that experience that you couldn't really, you know, there's so many cuts when you're performing, and he actually had you sing live as well. So was there a big, massive difference for you from doing a Broadway production for Hollywood?
You know, I think that they went to great lengths to have a rehearsal process prior to the actual filming. And the filming, even for this big of a musical, was pretty condensed. That sequence that Olga is talking about, Paciencia y Fe, is a very involved sequence that goes through time and CGI, and then they shot that in 3 days, 96,000 pieces in 2 days, you know, with 500 extras. So the fact that we had that, we call it a boot camp, you know, the hard work that was put in there in terms of the choreography and all of the musical training that we had to go through, and just bringing their A game to the party, I think helped a lot. I see it in not only in the big moments, but in the very intimate moments that makes this musical stand out to me in a special kind of way.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. You guys were amazing in the musical. I can't wait for everyone to see this. But thank you so much for your time. Love you both. You guys are amazing. So thank
Oh,
you.
bless you.
Laura,
Blessings,
thank you so much.
Comics, movies, and TV, yeah. Pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this. This is the Hard Knock